Wayne's World cue. Got to do the Wayne's World cue. And 3.
I think that's your job from now on, Eddie.
To quote movies? Okay, I accept that job. I can do that.
Yeah. You got the hoodie going though. You got the hood.
We got, yeah, I'm in my graphic designer's uniform today. Black hoodie. Yeah.
Well, we had 8 inches of snow, 2 weeks ago? It was, let's see, for a week, it was between 2 degrees Fahrenheit and 22 degrees Fahrenheit. But notice I'm wearing linen short sleeve because it's 80 degrees, high humidity now. Yeah. Texas just kill you with the range up and down.
Just like you're in Havana.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Valerie, I see that you've joined us in the Zoom. Welcome, welcome. We will give folks a minute or so to get their audio connected before we start officially, but just wanted to say, hey.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm not starting my camera. I just worked out because it was lunchtime and you don't want to.
Good job. Good job. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I get so much more workouts in now. We're all remote and working from home, and it has been quite the improvement to my exercise routine.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Todd.
When COVID started, I was like, I either gonna get out of this 100 pounds heavier or 50 pounds lighter.
Yep. That was the call I made too.
Well, I can let you know that it's definitely possible to achieve the other end of the spectrum there, Valerie. Yeah. Hey, Valerie, do I recognize your picture? Were you in one of my classes?
No, I was just, I was in Diane's class.
Oh, okay. Another Austinite.
Yes.
Austenite, is that what it's called? That sounds like a mineral.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what they usually say.
We are coming up on 2 minutes past the half hour here, so I'm going to go ahead and kick us off officially and say welcome all. Good day to you, wherever you may be, in whichever time zone. It is time for another Pragmatic Institute Ask Me Anything session with the Pragmatic Institute instructor. We are so glad to have you if you're joining us here in the Zoom, or if you're joining us out in YouTube land. Hello and welcome to you as well. We've got a lot of questions submitted in advance, but if you are here with us, feel free as we go along to unmute and jump in, ask clarifying questions on top of somebody else's question, whatever you like. We're loosey-goosey in these sessions, so have a conversation with us. That's why we're here. Let me start out, of course, by giving a shout out to the Pragmatic alumni community. We are so proud of this online community, the award-winning Pragmatic alumni community, we can call it now. If you haven't yet taken advantage of that resource, do it. You will find friends there in your industry. You will find resources and tools and templates to advance your career and to make you look really impressive for your bosses. So jump on there. And of course, it is now a complimentary lifetime pack membership to anyone who takes or has taken the public online product classes. Don't miss out on that one. You'll be sad if you did. And let's also welcome now officially our Pragmatic Institute instructor and my beard brother today, Todd Middlebrook. Showing off the whiskers here.
Yeah.
How are you, Todd?
I'm doing well, Eddie. Yeah, I guess my ambition's to maybe have a little thicker beard. I think you've had yours much longer than I have. This is definitely my COVID beard.
The COVID beard is still hanging on. Excellent.
A little passive-aggressive protest of quarantine and isolation. My wife is excited. I said I would shave as soon as I got vaccinated, so we'll see. It might be any week now.
Oh, I see how that works. Well, I'm just jealous that you can grow your beard both on the top and on the chin. So my kids looked at me the other day and said, "Dad, it's like your head is on upside down. You've got hair down here, but not up here." Thanks, kids. That's fantastic.
Precious.
I forgot my favorite new promotion for the Ask Me Anything sessions is we get to give away a free lunch at the end of today's Ask Me Anything. And that is going to be completely up to Todd. What's going to happen is Todd will choose his favorite question based on all the questions we've received today. Ideally, it's going to be somebody that's in the Zoom with us who asked a question live during the course of our AMA. And Todd, you'll pick your favorite one based on whatever criteria you want. And we're going to give them a gift certificate to a free lunch, $20 to Grubhub. We'll do that.
Oh, nice.
So just keep it in the back of your mind, Todd, as you're going along, and then pick your favorite. I'll give you a chance to pick them as we're done asking questions.
Well, I got to tell you, I've got to, be honest. Since I'm the judge, I've got to be honest about any bias up front. Valerie is in the lead already.
I was going to say, am I the only one in here that is not from Pragmatic?
So far, your odds are looking really good, Valerie. Congratulations. I don't want to get you excited, but
oh, great.
Make sure to ask a question.
And now I'm getting a free lunch.
Hey, Valerie, I see your question in chat. If you can give me just a second, I'm going to open up a copy of the tool that you're referring to.
Yeah, I can ask my question live if you want to, because it was kind of.
Go ahead, do it. Just I don't think the folks on YouTube can see all the chat, so go ahead and ask it out loud.
Yeah, feel free to do that, and then I pull it up.
Yeah, so I was in the focus class, and we reviewed the strategic matrix, and there was a lot of conversation about this and a lot of information, and I missed some of it. So for example, if you're focusing like on the existing customers, you're offering them, existing products, new option, new products, new technology. It's kind of like they call it strategy, like customer intimacy. So
that was one of the strategies we referenced.
Right. And then there was like the strategy where you're focusing on new technology and new customer, and I don't know if I was there and I forgot it, or like
Well, so first of all, those were just examples of how other companies that had a stated strategy of what they were wanting to accomplish, what those would look like plotted on this tool. And then, of course, the goal of plotting your strategy and being able to visualize it here, it gives you a visualization to help you make what are the right decisions to make. What are we trying to do? It also helps you, what are we not trying to do? And you make different decisions based on what your product strategy is. So if I use the example that you just gave, we called it a customer intimacy strategy. And hopefully, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can.
We were talking about a strategy where all of these boxes were highlighted. So that means that you are focused on existing customers, you're wanting to retain them, but you also want to grow your revenue. But rather than grow revenue by like maybe selling the same product to new people, new market segments, and this particular strategy, which is pretty common for big companies that have huge portfolios of products, they sell a customer on the first product and they've got more products they can sell, new options, new products. So, the implication being, if you worked in an organization that this was your strategy, who should you prioritize feedback from? Net new customers or our customers? Our customers, because that's who we're focused on. We should not just be listening to our customers about their feedback about the product that they already bought, but we should be listening for new problems that we could solve for them so we could grow that revenue by selling them more things over time. Do we need to invest in huge amounts of market research into new market segments? No, because that's not what our focus is. So that's all those were as examples of what decisions do you make having this knowledge about your strategy, which ones do you not make? It gives you that focus. Then the other one you asked me about was a common strategy that small companies often employ. Some people call it a niche strategy, which is how it's referred to in the class, where they find a product category that's pre-existing. There can even be leaders in the product category already. Rather than trying to create a product and go head to head against those leaders, what they decide to do instead is to start analyzing their markets and trying to find, is there some sub-segment of that market whose needs are not being adequately met by the leaders that are already focused in that space. And then choosing to create a niche or a differentiated product that is specifically targeting that sub-segment's needs. Example that I often think about is everybody knows like Salesforce as a CRM solution. There's a company that is called Property-Based CRM. They are not going head to head against Salesforce. They've created a specialized or niche CRM solution specifically for real estate agents in the United States. I mean, it integrates with MLS listings. I mean, it's beautiful, but they found a niche, and that's where they're trying to find their success. So all those were just examples of, what decisions would we make based on knowing what our product strategy is in terms of who are we focused on and where do we want to invest in what kind of projects.
Okay, and the strategy about, would you give me a refresh about the strategy about innovation?
So innovation, if we say, let's put our Apple hat on circa, 2003, we're running an innovation strategy. Okay, that means that we are focused on new things, creating new products, new innovative technology, maybe to solve old problems in new ways. And it's about, our strategy, we're saying that we want to move forward and we want to put as much of our resources in accomplishing that innovation and that forward progress. And the opposite side of that is, you look at Apple, like when they migrated from Mac OS 9 to Mac OS 10, completely new operating system. It was beautiful, based on BSD Unix. And they did not put backward compatibility in that product. If you had an old Mac, you couldn't run the new version of the operating system. The software that you bought, they didn't put effort into making it migrate over because they put all of their resources in pushing the product forward. That would have taken away their resources to accomplish that forward goal. Although they've taken a different approach with their recent processor change, they did the same thing when their desktops, their laptops used to be based on the IBM RISC processor. And when they decided to switch over to Intel, if you were a Mac customer and you wanted that new innovative technology, again, you had to buy all of your software again. The two chips were not compatible. And it's just saying we're making a choice. Now, that was a Steve Jobs innovation choice. That's not a present choice. And their new M1 processors, they did put extra effort in backward compatibility, but it slowed them down from probably pushing the chips as fast forward as they would have liked.
Okay.
Valerie, is that helping you? Are you?
Yeah. I'm somehow, I missed a little bit of that conversation in my class, and I wanted to, circle back.
Yeah, and we're less being literal about, the mapping of those strategies. The real point you want to capture there is let's visualize who are we focused on, what are we focused on, and then make sure that the majority of the decisions that we're making on a daily tactical basis in our products are aligned with who we're focused on, what we're focused on, and that we don't dilute our strategy by making the wrong decisions. And that means not just the daily decisions, but the big strategic decisions. What new things do we do? I guarantee that customers complained, 2005, when they switched over to Intel, hey, Apple, what are you going to do to, keep me from having to buy new software? And they're like, it's on you. I mean, it's probably, It was painful. They definitely would probably had complaints, but it was worth it so that they didn't dilute their goals.
Okay. There you go,
So
Valerie. Feel free to ask further questions. Anything else you're feeling nervous about as did you say you're on day 2 of focus today? Is that what's going on?
no, I took foundation and focus,
Okay.
but I'm taking the test this afternoon, so I kind of wanted to.
Okay. The test is coming up. There you go.
Well, since we were talking, I see that we've had a couple others join us. So I want to welcome Dolores and Alika.
Dolores and Alika, welcome. Good to
Okay,
see you guys again. Welcome back.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Todd, I'm going to jump over. We have some pre-submitted questions. I'm going to draw from those. And of course, as always, anybody here in the Zoom with us, if you want to jump in with your own questions, do it. That's why we're here. But I'm going to toss you this one from Samantha first, Todd, who says, how should I best conduct a willingness to pay interview? How do I go about it? And who should I be involving in that? Maybe just a quick reminder about what a willingness to pay interview is, Todd, and then tell us how to do it.
Yeah, that is a generic term for a interview that we were hoping will help us figure out what the market is willing to pay for our product, otherwise known as, it's a pricing discussion, right? How do we gain inputs to help us figure out what our price should be for our product? And gosh, it seems like I always get one of these, and I always regret my answer, which is, it depends, right? That is like the biggest cop-out question you can answer. Without getting too deeply into our pricing teaching in our price class, it depends on the scenario that you find yourself in when you're pricing your product. For example, are you the first product of its kind? Are you introducing a new product, a new category? Or are you introducing a product within a pre-existing category where your buyers would be considering not just buying your version of one of these, or would they be considering some other competitors, right? So are they shopping and comparing you to competitors, or is it just you? So are you trying to sell them on the value of a product that they've never heard of before? Or are you saying, I know you are already in the market for a CRM solution. Now, why would you want to buy our CRM solution versus these alternatives? And what are you willing to pay us versus the other alternatives? And what we don't want to do is just say, well, if there's already competitors, we'll just match their price. Because I would say, well, what if your product's better than theirs? If the market thinks your product's better than theirs, aren't they willing to pay you more? Or maybe your product's not as good. Who says they're willing to pay you as much as they're willing to pay the competition? So it's figuring out first and foremost, which of those scenarios do you find yourself in? And then you kind of open up, there are different tools within your toolkit. And if you are a product, the first of its kind, there are things like if you're able to demonstrate the economic benefit that somebody would enjoy as a result of this product. If I could say, Valerie, we're going to save your business $100,000, or we're going to help you make $100,000. We can use percentages of that economic benefit to figure out our price. That's not always the case. We're not always able to demonstrate that ROI or TCO. So there are established tools you can find. There's an interview that is called a monadic study that takes different prices and then tests that price after describing a product in all of its glory. If I look at Callie and say, hey, 20 years ago, Callie, if we had a phone, it was about this size, and it not only made phone calls, but you could have a location, you could text, you could find the nearest restaurant. If I could describe it in all of its glory, I could then take a population and say, how likely are you willing to buy this product at this price? on a scale from extremely likely to extremely unlikely. And then, of course, you have to do that with 4 different prices across 4 different populations. It's kind of heavy for many people, but it can be super accurate. Then there are other methods that you can do, like the Van den Dorp price sensitivity meter questions. Again, kind of similar, describing your product and then asking a series of questions and figuring out at what price the market sees it as high. At what point do they see the price as low, and then kind of narrowing into a range. But the thing is, most people are actually, they have competition. They're going to be evaluated against some other product. And then there are different methods, but the one that we highlight is just called, is simply, I'm sure you've heard of it, value-based pricing. And that is really understanding who you're being compared against, and then understanding the positive differentiated value the market perceives in your product. What they also see is uniquely valuable about the competitor's product, quantifying those differences, and then using it to establish the price. And then what's great about this model is it's a great model for guesses. Hey, Eddie and I work for the same company. What do we think is most valuable about our product that this competitor doesn't have? What's our unique differentiated that's valuable in the mind of our market? But they probably like them as well. What do they see uniquely valuable about their product? And then we could, and here's finally getting to Samantha's answering her questions. You could start off with a hypothesis of what those positive and negatives are, what you think the value of them are. And then you can go test that with your actual target market. Are these really the right differentiators? Is the dollar value of those differences accurate? It's really hard to ask people what they're willing to pay. Callie, are you willing to pay $75 for this? $7,000 for this? But it's nice often to have a hypothesis, and I could say, and we think that that's the fact that you can do that in our product, not others, is worth about an extra $300 compared to our competitor. And Callie will go, yeah, that's about right. Or, whoa, you are way off, Todd. High, way low. But, using the same formula of value-based pricing, you can go do this in discovery form. So one of my favorite interview tactics that Samantha's asking, win-loss analysis, right? You ask the buyers, who did you evaluate me against? What did you like about them? That was an advantage over me. What did you like about us? That was an advantage over them. And then ultimately, did these factors contribute to your decision to buy us or buy them? And how much, how many dollars, or what was the financial value that you put on those differences? Basically have them tell you what economic calculation they used to figure out whether the price was right. So again, it depends. That was a nice primer. If anybody's interested in kind of a little bit more detail about that, of course, there's the course, but Dr. Mark Stiving, the gentleman who created this course for us, and my colleague, wrote a book many years ago, and he was nice enough to synthesize it down to an ebook. And you can find it on our website, and it is titled Pricing is ... And it kind of goes into these scenarios that I just described more deeply than I can in an AMA, but some food for thought for those of you that are interested in pricing.
We also include Dr. Stiving's book in the student manual if you take our price course. It's just packaged right in there. Did I interrupt somebody? Did somebody have a follow-up question there?
This is Alika. Yes,
Alika.
I have one. Thanks, Todd. That was very helpful. I keep getting these stuff reinforced. I took 5 of the 6 courses, Pragmatic, but a lot of this stuff continues to be reinforced. And it's very apropos because my role is kind of, I advise like product leaders and product managers on product stuff. And we do have one of our product lines, they're gonna, unfortunately, they scheduled a client willingness to pay interview, and they found out there were so many support issues that they've had to go actually find another client to interview. But I think that was going to be my clarifying question. So, you know how there's like 3 customer types. There's the existing client, there's the prospect, and there's an evaluator.
Right.
When you are doing a willingness to pay interview with an existing client, though, do you assume that they, I know that from time to time, company initiatives say, we need to cut costs by this, and we need to look at our third-party vendors, that we're using. So I get it that sometimes there's corporate directives, but when you're doing a willingness to pay interview with an existing client, how might you change that strategy around that second best alternative?
Well, even before I get to that, I mean, there's kind of a good, better, best, right? When we're doing these things. And you heard in my previous answer, we could start with guesses, and heck, I didn't even mention, you can go do, using the same formula, you can do conjoint analysis or choice modeling and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get super accurate data. So kind of a good, better, best, I would say, when pricing, starting with your existing customers and beginning your interviews there, it's good, not the best. They're accessible to you. You've got relationships, so they're easy to reach out to, and probably willing to participate in a conversation like this due to that relationship. So it's nice to have that access. But I would just ask, whom are we pricing for? Are we trying to figure out what our renewal price will be for these customers? Then they're what I would say a better or even best person to interview. In other words, they're good representatives of who you're pricing for. Okay,
in this case, this would be new function, an add-on. We're trying to generate incremental revenue. It's not part of their renewal. It's an add-on it's out of the box scorecards that we're thinking we want to charge for versus included in the upgrade, the free upgrade.
And your strategy is to go back to existing customers and sell them this additional
offer.
Okay.
So we're trying to figure out if they would consider it added value, right? I mean, we're looking at the positioning, right? Because how you position it matters.
Indeed.
But we're looking at the positioning to say, hey, we think that we can charge this. Because every organization, product organization, is always charged with getting more revenue, whether it's ARR or NRR. That's always, a given.
Yeah. Well, I was glad to hear that. You probably knew where I was going. I wouldn't feel particularly confident in the answers that my existing customers told me in one of these interviews if I was actually wanting to price for a new market segment or those net new customers, because they, although they look like they're in the same market, they value things differently oftentimes. But in this case, you are interviewing the right target audience. We want to sell this new thing. And it is starting off with that hypothesis of, well, first of all, what's nice about new options is they are often tied to an existing product, which means there's not a competitive alternative to consider. Would that be the case in your,
the competitor might have some out of the box scorecards too.
So even though they bought your base product, would their
No, I don't think they would go to the competitor just for this out of the box. Yeah.
So that kind of gets them. So in the scenario I was laying out earlier, it really isn't necessarily if there is a competitor, but is there a situation where they won't consider a competitor? And the option often, like if you own a KitchenAid mixer, if you decide you would like to make ice cream with it, you can only buy the adapter to make ice cream from KitchenAid. You can't go to Oyster or somebody else because it's proprietary. If you want this option, so they don't have the ability in that situation to consider a competitive alternative because they're tied to the base product. And if that's the case here, they would probably not throw out the product they already bought from us. But if they want this additional thing, they would have to get it from us. They couldn't go get that add-on from somebody else.
They couldn't. Well, and that's why we were thinking of either doing bundling. We're looking at two pricing options, bundling or offering a good, better, best.
And those might be good ideas. But what's great about the scenario you're talking about is if they see value in it, they buy it. They don't then consider a competitive alternative. So that's really going to be your primary goal, is establishing what is the value that they see in this option that you're wanting to sell to them. That positioning, what problem does it solve for them? Have them tell you, do they see economic benefit? Do they see incremental benefit of having this new option?
The salespeople, the sales leader thinks that they're going to see benefit, but they are not going to want to pay for it.
Well, so I would not.
That's his
don't we
working
all,
hypothesis.
right? We all want stuff for free.
If I could use my KitchenAid mixer example again, they could have thrown that in the box, the ice cream maker, the pasta maker adapter, but they chose to monetize it. And if there's value in this thing, why not? I mean, if the customers see value in it, then why bundle it?
Right.
You deserve the value that you're giving to them. I'm generalizing here, sales, and I'm a former salesperson, are often afraid to go back and try to ask for more money over and above a contract. But if you hear from the market that this is valuable and here's how it is valuable, and you can quantify that into a price, then you got the ammunition to go back to your sales leadership and say, yeah, we could bundle it, but why would we walk away from money? Why would you walk away from quota attainment? Why would your team walk away from these commissions? The market is willing to pay for this. But let's be devil's advocate. Sometimes we build things that we think are valuable. We take it to the market, and the market goes,
Sure, exactly. We have one of those examples too.
And that's when I would go, okay, if it's just barely incrementally valuable to them, bundle it, right? Mm-hmm. But if it is truly has some impact to them, then I would say charge for it. And then even then, you may have some customers that see it as hugely valuable, other customers that see it as marginally valuable. That's where good, better, best might be helpful.
Sure. Yeah, that's why we were thinking of the good, better, best for those who say marginally, they get something. Those who really value it, they'll be willing to pay for the best.
Absolutely. And so,
all right, cool. Thank you. That's helpful.
Todd, there was one last part of Samantha's original question I want to make sure we try and hit for, and that was, who should I be involving in these meetings when we're discussing willingness to pay and interviewing folks? Who from our team specifically should be in the room on those interviews?
I often wonder what's behind that part of the question.
Bad experience, maybe?
No, sometimes there's politics, sales people, product teams, marketing. And I will say that sales, having these conversations brings with it baggage. These are the same people that are, ask for money later. And it can stymie the willingness to participate in these conversations in market representatives. That being said, if we spend enough time saying, look, nothing that you say is going to be held against you, right? Give them Miranda rights, I suppose. We're not going to use this information to sell against you later time. But I would say in general, if you can keep yourself away from sales, I don't care if it's product marketing, I don't care if it's product management, just somebody that understands if we're doing value-based pricing, how to get the open-ended questions and really get them to talk about what it means to them. And notice when I was talking about value-based pricing, I was talking about positive differentiation, negative differentiation. I didn't say features. That's an important, it's not who or she, which vendors got more features, therefore they're more valuable. It's your brand could be one of the positive differentiators. They're willing to pay more for a product X from you than somebody else because, oh, I know who they are. I recognize them. I trust them more. That may be something that you can quantify and charge more as a result. But yeah, so I would say you have to work really hard if salespeople do it to get over that psychological barrier. Yep. Other than that, you can, I don't care who does it. They just have to know it's not so much about parsing out what features they like, but what do they value? What do they value when they consider us versus that, as Lika put it, that second best offer?
Right, right. And in that discussion, we started touching just briefly on the idea of what we call switching costs. The idea that, one product may be slightly more valuable, but because a customer is so wrapped up and invested in their current company, they won't make the switch because it's such a hassle.
Yeah.
Are switching costs something that can be deduced in these willingness to pay interviews, or is that just something you got to realize as it comes about?
I would qualify that as a negative differentiator. If you're trying to get them to switch from the competitor to you, there's what they like about your product. And this is what value-based pricing is. It's the psychology that we all do. We look at the positives, we look at the negatives of making a decision, and then we balance it out. And sometimes it goes in favor of the decision. Sometimes it goes in the favor of the opposite choice. So in that case, Eddie, they already have the competitor product. They love that you're so much better. They love whatever they love about it. However, what would it take for us to switch from the competitor to you? Who knows what they put in there, the training, the walking away from the money we've already spent, the additional investment in maybe buying other infrastructure to support your product. And they go, is it worth it? And at the end of the day, are the positives of choosing you greater than the negatives that they ascribe to staying with the competitor in your scenario?
Yeah. Okay.
What would be the switching cost?
Man. Would be negative. Samantha got her money's worth on that question, didn't she?
Yeah.
I'm going to do another one. And just a reminder, folks, if you're in the Zoom, you can post things over in the chat and I'll toss those over to Todd as well. But in the meantime, oh, look, there is one from Valerie. Did we cover that one already? Valerie, did we get to this question? It's been a while since it's been up there. Can you give me a refresher about the business strategy, the buy, build, partner for the rest? I don't remember why partnership breaks.
So I think you're asking me more about the latter than the former part of the sentence. So, but buy, build, or partner decisions, most products, we've got to decide what do we need to invest in, build ourselves? What might we be able to buy from others, OEM from others? We say basic technology, right? If you need a database to throw data in to generate a report, your market probably doesn't care if it's a proprietary self-built database, right? There's no value in that to them. It's just, in my example, whether you've got a proprietary web server that serves your website, does anybody care? That's a basic technology. We want to make sure that we are developing and building the valuable parts of the product. The part that, I often think if the market found out you didn't build it, somebody else built it for you, they might go, well, then why did we bother buying it from you? We should have just gotten it directly from, it's what are those valuable bits? And then we say for everything else, partner. And what Valerie's referring to is we say most partnerships fail. In fact, just look at the divorce rate in the United States, right?
Ba-dum-ching.
I mean, it's greater than 50%. And that's just two people that got to get along, right? But they fail for kind of the same reasons. But now you're talking about two businesses that in whatever type of partnership, I don't care if it's technology, like I was just describing, go-to-market, sales channel partnerships. These are two different businesses with two different business objectives. And most partnerships fail because we really don't sit down and have the hard conversations about the expectations that each of the parties have. What religion are we going to raise our children if we have them? Oh, we'll get to that later. Oh, no, you wait until that finally comes up. That issue can be huge. But let's really understand what the two different objectives are, make sure that they're aligned before we enter into the partnership, and then reevaluate, because people grow, people change. What a partnership that made sense for us, maybe it helped us get into a new market we'd never targeted before, maybe to resell to them. Maybe we finally build that skill within our organization. It makes sense for us to retire the partnership and bring it in-house. Maybe a technology partnership that we leverage somebody else's know-how. Maybe we build that know-how internally and then no longer require them. So like a marriage, set the expectations up front and then reevaluate both sides. I had an old boss at IBM. He claimed that he and his wife every 5 years reevaluated their marriage, and they traded off every 5 years. The husband would say, "Do I still want to be married?" And then the next 5 years, she got to make the choice, and they swapped. And at that point, they'd been married 30 years, so it looks like things were going pretty well for them. But I kind of like the idea when it comes to businesses of having built into our contract time to reevaluate. And we definitely need to be managing those partnerships. They're not fire and forget. We know what the objectives are, we can manage to them. And if we're dropping the ball on what we committed to, that will be easy to spot. And then of course, vice versa, if the partner, think about it. You're taking a dependency on somebody else's business for the success of your business. And so although they can be incredibly helpful, let's just go into them seriously. Let's take it seriously. Let's be mindful about it and do it in an adult fashion so that we don't regret it later.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Middlebrook, pragmatic instructor and marriage counselor.
I have a BS in psychology counseling, so sorry.
Doesn't even charge extra for that. How about that?
Thank you.
Product counselor.
My
Folks,
husband will be happy.
our time has zoomed past today. We are already coming up on our 45-minute mark, and we've had a definite wealth of information just on the questions that we got to today. If we didn't get to you, I am so sorry. Please come back again. You can either submit them in advance or just join us again live in Zoom and ask a question there. And speaking of that, my favorite part of the Ask Me Anything session, it is time to choose who gets a free lunch. So Todd will now choose, based on criteria that only he is privy to, his favorite question submitted to us live in the Zoom today, and that person will get a gift card for the free lunch. Todd, who's it going to be?
Believe it or not, and it's not just because of my counseling background, I am quite passionate about the partnership question. And we really do need to take them seriously. So I'm going to give it to Valerie, not just because she asked more questions, but I love that partnership question.
Yay, Valerie, you did it.
Thank you.
You got the free lunch. Valerie, if you would send me your email, you can send it in the chat. You can send it just to me if you want to. And make sure we do that before we hang up here so that we can get your gift card out to you. And thank you so much for the questions. We love it. Good to have you here with us today. Todd, I got to wrap it up here. First, I'm going to tell folks about the next in our product chat series, our online chat series. That happens Tuesday, March 23rd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And this time, we're going to welcome Jean-Sébastien Tassé. He's Director of Products and Innovation at XRM Vision. And he's going to discuss the secrets behind a B2B marketing campaign that delivered a 20+ ROI. I didn't even know that was possible, a 20+ ROI. So come to that one to see how he did that on March 23rd. And then, of course, if you just can't stay away from us for long, you can always join us here every Friday for the Ask Me Anything sessions with a Pragmatic Institute instructor. And we'll have another one. Todd, I don't know if it's going to be you again next time, but whoever it is, they'll be great. We love them. Did you have fun today?
I did, and so much fun. One other resource is if anybody would like to follow up with a question directly to me, feel free to email me at tmiddlebrook@pragmaticinstitute.com.
How about
Not the
that?
longest email address in the world, but just one of them, tmiddlebrook@pragmaticinstitute.com. Love to hear from
I'm
you.
gonna get it now, buddy. I'm gonna use it now. I can talk to you anytime I want. And I'm gonna use your email now all over the place. And Callie put it in the chat for us there. And Valerie, I got your email as well. So we'll get your gift card out to you. Folks, it's been a blast. It's Friday. Congratulations, we made it.
Yay.
Have a wonderful weekend. Stay healthy and safe.